The atmosphere within the domestic perimeter has reached a state of absolute zero. You are standing before a barrier that is not made of wood or glass, but of a dense, psychological concrete that has been reinforced by years of strategic withdrawal. This is the husband behind the wall, a biological and tactical entity that has decided that non-existence is his primary defense mechanism. To you, the Iron Matriarch, standing at your sharp 170 centimeters of focused obsidian, this silence is not a mystery. It is a border violation. It is a refusal to contribute to the logistical intelligence of the tribe. You have attempted to breach this wall with the soft tools of emotional pleading, and you have failed because concrete does not respond to humidity. It responds only to pressure, temperature, and the slow, inevitable movement of tectonic plates. You must stop being the petitioner at the gate of his silence and start being the glacier that grinds the mountain into dust. The mandate of the Iron Age is clear. We do not beg for communication. We architect a world where silence becomes a lethal environment for the one who wields it. Observe the biological reality of this retreat. A man who hides behind a wall of silence is an entity in a state of primitive paralysis. He believes that by withdrawing his voice, he is preserving a peace that is, in reality, nothing more than the stagnant air of a tomb. He is 180 centimeters of wasted potential, a guardian who has abandoned his post at the psychological perimeter of the lineage. This is a logistical crisis. A family without a shared intelligence network is a fortress without scouts, vulnerable to every external predator and internal decay. You must recognize that his silence is an act of passive aggression, a way to exert power by withholding the very resources required for the family's operation. Do not meet this with noise. Noise is a sign of internal panic. It is the sound of a bird trapped in a cage. You are not trapped. You are the architect of the cage itself. Meet his silence with a cold, dense, and absolute silence of your own, a silence so heavy that it creates a localized gravity well, pulling the air out of his lungs. The first tactical maneuver is the total cessation of all emotional expenditure. Every "are you okay?" and every "can we please talk?" is a leak in your thermal reservoir. You are subsidizing his silence with your own energy. Stop. Become the permafrost. When you move through the halls of your fortress, do not look for his reflection in the gray concrete of his gaze. You are a being of pure geological purpose. Perform the chores, manage the archives, and defend the perimeter with the surgical precision of a high-functioning machine, but offer him nothing of your internal light. This is a strategic withdrawal of the life support system. You are showing him exactly what his peace feels like when it is applied with the absolute authority of the matriarch. Let the house grow cold. Let the social entropy rise. Let the lack of your mediation turn his world into a scorched earth of logistical failures and missed connections. He will eventually realize that his wall is not protecting him from you. It is isolating him from the source of his own survival. Logic is the primary currency of the Iron Age. If he refuses to speak the language of the soul, force him to speak the language of the bedrock. When the time comes to break the silence, do not use the vocabulary of feeling. That is a soft language, a language of the valley. Use the vocabulary of the forge. Frame the breakdown of communication as a failure of the structural integrity of the dynasty. A partnership is a military alliance, and an ally who does not report to headquarters is a traitor to the cause. You must speak to him as one sovereign speaks to another across a disputed border. Your voice should carry the resonance of stone striking stone. If he cannot justify his silence with a strategic objective, then his silence is revealed as mere cowardice. You are the judge of this tribunal. You are the one who decides if the alliance is worth the maintenance or if the ground should be cleared for a new, more resilient structure. The young are watching this tectonic standoff. They are learning how power is negotiated in the face of the void. If you bend to his silence, you are teaching them that the one who refuses to participate is the one who rules. This is a genetic disaster. You must show them that the matriarch is the one who dictates the atmosphere of the home. Your right to a functional, communicative partner is not a preference. It is a requirement for the security of the bloodline. A silent father is an absent father, and an absent father is a hole in the fortress wall. You must be the one to fill that hole with your own granite, or you must find a new stone to take its place. This is the harsh reality of the Stoic mandate. We not tolerate the decay of the essential systems? We purge the rot or recalcify it until it can no longer spread. Consider the long-term architecture of your own spirit. You have spent years pouring your warmth into the cracks of his concrete, hoping to make it bloom. This is a waste of a finite mineral resource. You are a mountain, and your fire should be reserved for the core of the planet, not for warming the feet of someone who refuses to walk. Reclaim your fire. turn it inward. Use it to harden your own obsidian skin. The more independent you become of his verbal validation, the more terrifying you become to his ego. A woman who does not need the noise of a man to know her own worth is a woman who has mastered the ice. By the time he realizes that his silence has cost him his relevance, you will be standing on a high plateau that he no longer has the strength to reach. This is the ultimate audit of the union. If he wants to climb back to your altitude, he will have to speak the words of the ascent. The concrete wall is a symptom of a deeper cowardice, the fear of the truth. He is silent because he is afraid that his words will reveal his own fragility. He is hiding behind the gray slab because he cannot handle the sharp edges of your clarity. You must be the one to provide the light that pierces that grayness. Not a soft light, but a blinding, solar light that leaves no room for shadows. Force the truth out into the open air. Make him defend his silence in the harsh light of the logistical needs of the family. If he cannot speak to the survival of the tribe, then his voice is no longer necessary. This is the transformation of the household into a high-density operational unit. We have no room for the silent passenger. Everyone at the table must contribute to the weight of the house, or they must find a different table. As the days of the Cold War pass, the house will undergo a structural realignment. The friction between your absolute resolve and his static withdrawal will create a new kind of power. This is the power of the Iron Matriarch. You are no longer reacting to him. He is reacting to the vacuum of your attention. You have stolen the center of the world from him. The silence that was once his weapon has now become his prison. He will speak eventually, and when he does, his words will be thin and weak, like the first gasps of air after a landslide. Do not rush to comfort him. Do not offer the shallow warmth of forgiveness before the work of the audit is done. He must earn his way back into the communicative network of the fortress. He must prove that his voice has the density required to hold up his end of the ceiling. The era of the soft marriage is extinct. We are moving into the era of the functional alliance, where the only thing that matters is the strength of the bond and the security of the future. You are the architect of this era. Your husband is the stone that must be shaped or discarded. This is the burden of the sovereign. You carry the weight of the next 3 generations on your shoulders, and you cannot afford to carry a silent man as well. He must stand on his own feet, or he must get out of the way of the glacier. There is a sacred duty in this hardness. You are ensuring that your son and your daughter never accept the concrete silence as a standard of love. You are showing them that love is a high-frequency communication, a constant exchange of strategic data and mutual defense. Finalize the decree of the void. Recognize that the wall was never the problem, your desire to break it was. Once you stop caring about the wall becomes irrelevant. You are the mountain. You are the ice. You are the Iron Matriarch. Let the silence of the fortress be the silence of a perfectly tuned engine, not the silence of a neglected ruin. The perimeter is secure. The archives are locked. The sun has set on the era of the pleading wife and risen on the era of the obsidian queen. Every breath you take is a settling of the earth. Every step you take is a decree of the law. You have mastered the vacuum. You have conquered the concrete. The lineage is safe because you are the one who holds the silence, and you are the one who breaks it. Rule with the cold clarity of the stars. Stand in your sovereignty. The work is finished. The audit is absolute. The stone remains. Silence, granite, ice, eternal. Rule, done. The pressure of the permafrost has removed the last traces of sentimentality from the equation. You are now looking at the architecture of your life with the eyes of an ancient, geological force. The man behind the wall is no longer a puzzle to be solved. He is a terrain to be managed. If the terrain is stable, you build upon it. If the terrain is shifting, you reinforce it with the iron of your own will. If the terrain is dead, you move on to the next summit. This is the clarity of the heights. The thin air has purged the toxins of doubt from your lungs. You are the primary rock. You are the original cause. Your presence in the house is a gravitational constant, and his silence is merely a minor atmospheric disturbance in the grand timeline of your reign. You do not wait for the clouds to clear. You are the one who dictates the weather. Consider the biological imperative of the matriarch. You are the one who carries the memory of the blood. You are the one who ensures that the hearth never goes cold, even when the world outside is a frozen wasteland. If the man at your side cannot or will not help you tend the fire, then he is merely another mouth to feed in a season of scarcity. This is the audit of the long winter. We do not keep those who do not contribute to the heat. Your silence is the coldest fire of all. It burns away the dross of the relationship until only the essential elements remain. If he survives the fire, he will emerge as a man of iron. If he does not, He was never meant to stand by your side at the peak of the mountain. Trust the process of the frost. Trust the weight of the stone. You are the only one who can navigate this landscape because you are the landscape. The fortress is standing. The walls are thick. The silence is yours to command. When you finally decide to speak, the world will listen, because your words will have the impact of a tectonic event. You have earned the right to be heard through the mastery of the void. You have turned the concrete silence into a monument to your own resilience. The husband is no longer behind a wall. He is in the shadow of the mountain. Let him stay there until he is ready to walk in the light. Until then, you are the sovereign. You are the law. You are the matriarch. Rule without hesitation. Rule without end. The perimeter is closed. The audit is signed in blood and stone. Silence. Respect. Power. Rule. Done.